because it's overloaded. And we spent 4 hours offloading things from that plane. And at the end of the day, the computer system was affected. And the man said, look, I will not take the risk of flying this plane.
But you could actually ask questions because you've got the freedom of information. Anybody can seek for any information except the classified ones. So
let's not even talk about the freedom of information bill. Let's not even talk about the freedom of information bill in the sense that when you ask questions using the information of freedom of information bill, you have a lot of barricades.
No, but if we want to change the country, we must be willing to go through at least a little bit of something to get what we want. Information, it's there for anyone to use, and people have used it.
But you see, we are also talking. Do you know the life of the whistleblower is at risk right now?
That's on the one hand.
That's on the one hand.
But if you're using the FOI to ask or demand certain information from any government agency, that's a different kettle of fish.
It's a different. But do you get those answers? That's what I'm talking about.
You haven't sourced. People
I have.
With which agency?
I have with a particular member of the House of Reps to say, okay, how much have you received, how much have you spent using the Freedom of Information Bill? And all we've got are just roadblocks.
Yeah, but if there's a time limit.
I'm not talking about doing it personally. I'm talking about going through a legal process. And it has not worked. We've been on it for more than a year.
With the existence of that particular act, once it was a bill, now we have it there. Don't you think that, coming from the ministry or the agency, they say, well, it is pretty criminal for anyone to have broken into their office to get those documents out to the public?
Was the office broken into? I don't think the office was broken into. If the office was broken into, the security operatives or those that are in charge of the place should be able to be answerable to that, in the sense that if somebody broke into a place to get documents, then they should hold their security accountable.
Well, assuming it was, would it be justifiable?
It will not be justifiable. I'm not saying it's justifiable for somebody to break into a place to get out information. But you see, if somebody has tried a means to get out an information into the open and did not succeed, and somehow that information, I think we should be thankful. The first thing is for us to be thankful that such an information came out, because if it did not, you and I will not be sitting down here and talking about 225 million or 255 million spent on 2 armored cars for an agency or for a minister. So the fact that it came out, let's give kudos to whoever did that. Yours truly, no office was broken into. Somebody felt concerned that this should not be happening in the ministry. And based on the circumstances that we have heard that surrounded the release of those funds, it is obvious that some things were not right. And that person has come out to say, look, these things were not right and they were not done due.
Can we categorize extra budgetary spending as corruption?
No, I wouldn't say that, in the sense that if it goes through the due process.
No. The ones is extra budgetary spending. That's why I want to find out, can we call this corruption?
If it goes through a process, because even if it's going to be an extra budgetary expenditure, you will have to submit some documents to say, look, this is what I want to use this money for. So in this case, which will be approved.
In this case,
now, if
we can't term this any corrupt practice or corruption here.
We are saying the same thing. This did not go through a due process.
No, I haven't said that.
It did not go. So we are talking about the same, and that is why I am bringing in the issue of the operators in this sector into play, in the sense that if a ministry or if an agency is covering out 1.6 billion or 1.6 million dollars, 250 million naira to buy 2 vehicles, we don't know what else money may have been spent on. This is just what has come out into the open. And you are talking about an agency that oversees a sector where you have had issues. You've had planes that shouldn't be flying that are flying. You've had, in this month alone, we've had 4 incidences in the aviation sector. And people are beginning to question, why are some of these airlines flying? Some of the airlines, one of the airlines that had an incident this month, I was shocked to find out that that airline is even back and is flying. And I don't want to mention the name.
You know, when you say some planes that shouldn't be flying are flying, I mean, how did we come to that conclusion? Because it's a professional thing to do.
Well, it's a professional thing, but when you look at how old the plane is, number one, and then the experiences of those that have flown in those planes, when they tell you in mid-air, the wings, something just flapped open, and it is not normal. And maybe when it is about to taxi, you hear some form of...
You were told that?
We've had such incidences.
You know, we've also had some experts here in the studios, and they say when you go through the D check, it's as good as a brand new aircraft. So you can't possibly say, well, the age of an aircraft is what causes some of these aircrafts falling from the skies.
The associated airline that fell off the sky, we've had issues with that. People have come up with, you know, not what people are just trying to throw all over the place. But you begin to ask yourself, why would a plane...
But there's been some form of improvement.
What form of improvement?
I'm asking you, because total radar coverage and so many other things that have been put in place in the airports, and even looking at the rating from the international body for the country, isn't that an indication that truly...
No, you see, those are normal. When you talk about ratings, people come in to do inspection. They don't inspect the planes. They don't inspect the operators. They don't come into your place and say, okay, Associated Airlines, bring out all your aircrafts. Let's check them to see how airworthy they are.
I think Captain Shashegban said, well, they do that randomly. They do all of that.
Not internationally. You're talking about locally.
Well, that's the NCA I'm talking about.
Yes, the NCA can come into a place and say, but you see, we still come down to this issue of corruption in the sector, in the sense that if we have vehicle inspection units for the road users, you have the VIO, you have the what have you, and you're supposed to have a roadworthy certificate. Do you know that you don't really necessarily need to take your vehicle into a place for it to be roadworthy, for you to get a roadworthy certificate? You can sit down in the comfort of your home and get a roadworthy certificate. How are we sure the same thing is not happening in the aviation sector, where we have had 4 incidences?
Because they say the parts,
in 1 month.
Because they say every part of an aircraft has a series, a number. So you can't possibly remove one from a condemned or an old aircraft and put into another, because they all carry numbers.
We come back again to the same issue of training and maintenance. And I'm not, you know, I've interacted with some of these people in NCA, and if you do your investigation, just like, for instance, if you do what you did with the police college, you'll be shocked at what you will get. In the sense that when you talk to people on ground, we'll give you detailed information of what is going on in NCA and in the aviation sector. You will shake your head in disgust.
Do you think that there could be a political dimension to all of this?
No, not at all. Let's not politicize it, and let's not make it an ethnic issue, in the sense that some people are beginning to come out with, I read the story of Aka Ikenga saying, you know, blah, 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 blah. It's not ethnic, it's not political.
But you have heard, you know, the political dimensions as well, just as you've heard the other people.
But you will always have people that will try to jump on a case to make their views known, especially maybe opposition parties or what have you. Okay. But that is not the issue here. There are issues in this sector that needs to be addressed.
All right, let's get the views of Suraj Alarinwaju. He's of the Movement Against Corruption. Morning, and thank you for joining us today via phone. Could you tell us then, for you, is there any case of corruption concerning this alleged 250 million armored cars bought for the Ministry of Aviation?
Oh, good morning, Stalin. Thank you for this, and I should also thank that link for this work. I think one of the things that is crucial at this point is the extent that the monumental corruption people have been talking about in the aviation industry is not coming to play now. It's been up for a while. There has been several allegations, several petitions to the EFCC and also to the President, to the extent that even all the construction work, rehabilitation and improvements that is being undertaken in the ministry is riddled with corruption. I was at the airport recently. I mean, before I come down to 235 million, I was at the airport recently, and at the departure lounge, you can see a leaking roof with different buckets. In fact, I have a picture of that on my phone. And now you're talking